The morning sun cast long shadows across the crystalline spires of New Geneva Station, humanity's greatest diplomatic outpost, floating in the void between Earth and the Proxima colonies. Queen Camilla adjusted her formal diplomatic robes, the fabric shimmering with embedded nanothreads that displayed the Union Jack in subtle shifting patterns. Today would mark the most important negotiation in human history. Your Majesty, the Zephyrian delegation has arrived, announced Commander Sarah Chen, her voice tight with barely controlled tension. Through the massive viewport, Camilla could see the alien ships, organic, flowing vessels that looked more grown than built, their surfaces rippling with bioluminescent patterns that hurt human eyes to look at directly. The Zephyrians controlled 3 star systems rich in quantum crystals, materials essential for faster-than-light travel. Without access to these resources, humanity's expansion into the galaxy would grind to a halt. The negotiations had taken months to arrange, with both species working through layers of cultural translators and diplomatic protocols. Camilla had spent years preparing for this moment. She understood the delicate balance required. The Zephyrians valued what they called resonant harmony, a complex social concept that roughly translated to synchronized emotional states during important discussions. Her training had been extensive, learning to modulate her biorhythms and mental patterns to match their frequencies. "The security sweeps are complete," reported Captain James Morrison, head of the Royal Guard's Space Division. "However, we're detecting some unusual energy signatures from their ships. Nothing threatening, but it's affecting our translation matrices." Prince William entered the observation deck, his own diplomatic uniform crisp and formal. At 48, he had proven himself as an able administrator of the outer colonies, but this negotiation required his mother's expertise. "Mother, the preliminary protocols are ready. The Zephyrians seem particularly interested in discussing the emotional resonance parameters before we begin the actual resource negotiations." Camilla nodded, reviewing the holographic displays that showed real-time analysis of Zephyrian biosignatures. Their emotional states appeared stable, though their communication patterns remained alien and difficult to interpret. "The key will be establishing trust early in the process. They need to believe we can maintain long-term partnerships without the aggressive expansion they fear from younger species." The station's communication systems crackled to life with an incoming transmission from the Zephyrian flagship. The voice that emerged was melodic, almost musical, layered with harmonics that human ears could barely process. "Honored Earth Queen Camilla, we greet you with the blessing of the twin suns. We are prepared to begin the resonance calibration." "Thank you, honored ones," Camilla replied, her voice carefully modulated through the translation system. "We are honored by your presence and eager to find harmony between our peoples." As she spoke, technicians monitored her vital signs and adjusted the environmental controls to match Zephyrian preferences. The meeting chamber had been specially constructed with bio-responsive surfaces that could shift color and texture based on the occupants' emotional states. It was humanity's attempt to bridge the gap between species separated by millions of years of evolution. Suddenly, alarms began blaring throughout the station. Red emergency lights bathed the corridors as automated systems activated containment protocols. Commander Chen's face went pale as she received rapid updates through her neural implant. "Your Majesty, we have a problem," she announced, her professional composure barely holding. "Long-range sensors have detected a hegemony battle fleet approaching our position. Estimated arrival in 6 hours." The blood drained from Camilla's face. The hegemony was a collective of aggressive species that had been expanding aggressively through human space for the past decade. Their arrival now, during these crucial negotiations, could not be a coincidence. "How many ships?" William asked, already moving toward the tactical displays. 47 vessels, including 3 dreadnoughts," Chen reported. "If they engage us here, the station won't survive more than a few minutes." Camilla's mind raced through the implications. The Zephyrians were notoriously sensitive to conflict and violence. Their entire civilization was built around peaceful cooperation and emotional harmony. The presence of an aggressive military force would likely cause them to withdraw from negotiations entirely, possibly for decades. Captain Morrison stepped forward, his expression grim. "Your Majesty, I'm implementing emergency protocols. We need to evacuate you to the secure bunker immediately." "No," Camilla replied firmly. "These negotiations are too important. We cannot show the Zephyrians that we abandon our commitments at the first sign of trouble." "Mother, Morrison's right," William interjected. "The hegemony has a history of targeting diplomatic facilities. You'll be safer in the bunker." But even as they spoke, another transmission arrived from the Zephyrian ships. This time, the musical quality was replaced by discordant tones that made the human crew wince. "Earth Queen, we detect aggressive intentions approaching this place. The resonance is broken. We must withdraw to maintain harmony." Camilla closed her eyes for a moment, feeling the weight of humanity's future pressing down on her shoulders. Without these negotiations, human expansion would stagnate. Entire colonies would remain isolated, dependent on increasingly dangerous supply routes through hegemony-controlled space. "Wait," she said, opening a direct channel to the Zephyrian flagship. "Honored ones, I understand your concerns about the approaching conflict, but I propose an alternative. Let us demonstrate humanity's commitment to peace by continuing these negotiations, even in the face of danger." The response came back laden with what sounded like confusion and concern. "Earth Queen, your species' willingness to court violence troubles us. How can we achieve resonance when your thoughts turn to battle?" Before Camilla could respond, another alarm sounded. This time, it was her personal medical monitor. The stress of the situation was triggering her chronic condition, a rare neurological disorder that caused severe episodes when her stress levels spiked too high. Her hands began to shake and her vision blurred at the edges. Dr. Elizabeth Hammond, the station's chief medical officer, appeared at her side with a hypospray. "Your Majesty, your neurochemistry is destabilizing. I need to administer the stabilizing treatment immediately." "Not now," Camilla whispered, trying to maintain her composure as waves of disorientation washed over her. "The negotiations—" "Ma'am, with respect, you're in no condition to continue," Dr. Hammond said firmly. "The treatment will take several hours to take full effect, and even then, the stress of the situation could trigger another episode." William watched his mother struggle against the medical emergency, understanding immediately what this meant. The Zephyrians required emotional stability and clarity from their negotiating partners. A human leader experiencing a neurological crisis would be seen as fundamentally unsuitable for the delicate resonance work required. Captain Morrison's voice cut through the medical discussion. "Your Majesty, the Royal Guard protocols are clear. In the event of your incapacitation during a crisis situation, Prince William assumes full diplomatic authority." Camilla looked at her son, seeing the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. He had extensive experience with colonial administration and had participated in minor diplomatic functions, but nothing approaching this level of complexity and importance. "William," she said softly, gripping his hand, "the resonance protocols. Remember what I taught you about emotional harmonics. The Zephyrians respond to authenticity above all else. Don't try to be me. Be yourself, but be the best version of yourself." Dr. Hammond was already preparing the medical transport that would take Camilla to the secure medical facility. "Sir, we need to move her now." As his mother was wheeled away, William felt the enormous pressure of the moment settling around him. 47 hegemony ships were approaching. The most important diplomatic negotiation in human history was falling apart, and he had to somehow salvage everything. Commander Chen approached him with a formal posture. "Your Royal Highness, as acting senior diplomatic representative, how do you wish to proceed?" William looked out at the Zephyrian ships. their bioluminescent patterns now showing agitated, rapid-fire sequences. In a few hours, this space would become a battlefield. The aliens would withdraw, the negotiations would collapse, and humanity's expansion into the galaxy would be crippled for generations. But as he watched those alien ships, something his mother had said resonated in his mind. The Zephyrians valued authenticity. They could sense emotional resonance through their advanced sensory capabilities. Perhaps the key wasn't to follow the careful protocols and scripted responses that had been prepared. Perhaps what was needed was something more fundamentally human. "Commander Chen," he said, his voice growing stronger with decision, "open a direct channel to the Zephyrian flagship and patch me through to all ships in their delegation. Sir, the diplomatic protocols require—" "Override the protocols," William commanded, "and get me Captain Morrison. I want a full tactical assessment of our options against the hegemony fleet." As the communication systems activated, William realized he was about to take the biggest gamble in human history. Instead of following the careful diplomatic dance that had been choreographed over months, he was going to do something that no human leader had ever attempted with the Zephyrians. He was going to tell them the absolute truth about what it meant to be human in a hostile galaxy. The main view screen flickered to life, showing the bridge of the lead Zephyrian vessel. The alien commander that appeared was unlike anything most humans had ever seen. Tall, ethereal, with skin that shifted between translucent and opalescent. Multiple sensory organs pulsed along its elongated head, and when it spoke, the sound seemed to come from everywhere at once. "Earth Prince William," the being said, its voice carrying undertones of confusion and concern. "We sense great disruption in your resonance patterns. The approach of the violent ones has broken the harmony required for meaningful discourse." William took a deep breath, dismissing the prepared diplomatic responses that flickered across his display screens. His mother was right. Authenticity was key. But more than that, he realized the Zephyrians needed to understand something fundamental about humanity that all the careful protocols had been hiding. "Honored Zephyrian Commander," William began, "you are correct that our harmony has been disrupted, but I want to share something with you that our diplomatic protocols have perhaps hidden. For humans, disruption is not the end of meaningful action. It is often the beginning of our greatest achievements." The alien commander's sensory organs pulsed more rapidly, indicating heightened attention. In the background, William could see other Zephyrians gathering around their communication stations. "I do not understand," the commander replied. "How can meaningful discourse emerge from chaos and the threat of violence?" William gestured to Commander Chen, who activated tactical displays showing the approaching hegemony fleet. "In 4 hours and 37 minutes, 47 enemy ships will arrive at this location. They will attempt to destroy this station, kill everyone aboard, and prevent our two species from ever reaching an understanding." He paused, watching as the Zephyrian commander's bioluminescent patterns shifted to what humans had learned indicated deep concern. "Most species in your position would withdraw," William continued. "Most species would prioritize safety and survival over the uncertain benefits of negotiation. But humans, we have a saying, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. We do not abandon our commitments when they become dangerous. We double down on them." Captain Morrison stepped forward with the tactical assessment William had requested. "Your Highness, I have the defensive options ready." William nodded but continued addressing the Zephyrians. "Commander, I want to show you something that no human diplomatic mission has ever shared with an alien species. I want to show you how humans actually operate when everything is falling apart." He turned to his tactical team. "Morrison, what are our defensive capabilities against the hegemony fleet?" "Honestly, sir, we have 12 patrol ships, 6 defensive platforms, and the station's own weapon systems. Against 47 enemy vessels, including dreadnoughts, we can maybe hold out for 20 minutes before critical systems fail." The Zephyrian commander's patterns brightened with what appeared to be shock. "Earth Prince, why do you share this weakness with us? Does this not compromise your negotiating position?" William smiled, and for the first time in hours, he felt genuinely confident. "Because, honored friend, you're about to see why humans have survived and thrived in a galaxy full of species that are stronger, faster, and more advanced than we are." He opened a ship-wide communication channel. "All hands, this is Prince William. In just over 4 hours, we will face an enemy force that outnumbers us 4-1. Conventional wisdom says we should evacuate, abandon our mission, and live to fight another day. But we're not going to do that." Throughout the station, human crew members stopped their evacuation preparations and listened. "We're going to stay here and complete these negotiations because the future of human civilization depends on the success of this mission. Not because we're brave, though we are. Not because we're stupid, though some might argue that point. We're staying because this is what humans do. We find a way, or we make one." William turned back to the Zephyrian commander. "You want to understand human resonance? Our harmony doesn't come from perfect conditions and peaceful environments. It comes from impossible situations where reasonable beings would give up, but we refuse to accept defeat." Commander Chen activated additional displays showing the station's resource allocations. "Sir, engineering reports they can reroute power from non-essential systems to boost our defensive capabilities by approximately 12%. "Good," William replied. "What about offensive options?" Lieutenant Colonel Sarah Price, the station's weapons specialist, stepped forward. "Sir, if we coordinate with the Zephyrian vessels, we might be able to create overlapping defense fields. Their bioships have energy absorption capabilities that could complement our kinetic defenses." The Zephyrian commander's sensory organs were pulsing rapidly now. "Earth Prince, you propose that we participate in this battle? Our vessels are not designed for combat. We are explorers and diplomats." "I'm not asking you to fight," William clarified. "I'm asking if you want to see what partnership with humanity actually looks like. Your ships have energy absorption technology that could help protect everyone here. Our ships have weapons that could discourage the hegemony from pressing their attack too hard." He leaned forward, his expression growing more intense. "But more than that, I'm asking if you want to see what humans call going down swinging. Even if we lose this battle, the hegemony will remember the cost of attacking human diplomatic missions." Dr. Hammond's voice came over the communication system. "Your Highness, the Queen's condition has stabilized, but she will require at least 6 hours of treatment before she can resume active duties." "Understood, Doctor. Tell her that the negotiations are proceeding, just not in the way anyone expected." William turned his attention back to the Zephyrians. "Commander, my mother spent months learning your protocols for emotional resonance and harmonic communication. But I think there's something you need to understand about human emotional resonance that doesn't translate well through diplomatic channels." He activated a live feed from the engineering sections of the station, where human crew members were working frantically to prepare defenses. "Look at these people. They know they're probably going to die in a few hours. Watch their faces. Do you see panic? Do you see despair?" The Zephyrian commander observed the feeds, its patterns shifting to indicate confusion. "I see determination, focus. They appear almost energized by the approaching danger." "Exactly," William said. "This is what humans call rising to the occasion. The worse the situation gets, the better we perform. It's not logical, it's not efficient, but it's who we are." Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez from the communications section approached with an update. "Sir, we're receiving transmissions from 3 human colony ships in nearby systems. They're requesting permission to assist in the defense." "How long would it take them to reach us?" 6 to 8 hours, sir. They'd arrive after the battle, but they're willing to make the attempt." William smiled grimly. "Tell them to stand down, but thank them for the offer. and make sure the Zephyrians hear this exchange. The alien commander's bioluminescent patterns were shifting rapidly through colors that human translators couldn't fully interpret. Earth Prince, your people are willing to risk their lives to reach a battle they cannot affect? Yes, William replied simply. That's what we do for each other. It's what we would do for allies who earned our loyalty. He activated another set of displays showing human colony worlds throughout the sector. Commander, you've been concerned about humanity's rapid expansion through the galaxy. You worry that we're too aggressive, too willing to take risks, too quick to resort to violence when facing obstacles. The Zephyrian nodded, its elongated head moving in a gesture that was somehow recognizably affirmative, despite their completely different anatomy. You're right to be concerned, William continued. But you're also missing the most important part of human nature. Yes, we expand rapidly. Yes, we take risks that other species consider foolish. Yes, we fight when we're threatened. He paused for emphasis, watching as more Zephyrian crew members gathered around their communication stations. But we also stand by our friends. We honor our commitments even when it costs us everything. And once we give our word, breaking it requires killing us first. Captain Morrison reported from the tactical station. Sir, the hegemony fleet has increased speed. Estimated arrival time is now 3 hours and 45 minutes. Acknowledged, William replied. Then, addressing the Zephyrians directly, Commander, I'm going to make you an offer that no human government has authorized me to make. But I think you need to understand what partnership with humanity really means. He took a deep breath, knowing he was about to commit his species to obligations that would reshape their relationship with the galaxy. If your people agree to the resource-sharing arrangement we came here to negotiate, I give you my word, not as a diplomatic representative, but as a human being, that any attack on Zephyrian territory will be treated as an attack on human territory. Our fleets will respond as if our own worlds were threatened. The communication channel fell silent except for the barely audible harmonics of Zephyrian discussion. William could see rapid exchanges happening on their ships, bioluminescent patterns flashing in complex sequences. Finally, the commander spoke. Earth Prince, you offer military alliance based on negotiations that have not yet concluded. This is highly irregular. Yes, it is, William agreed. It's also exactly the kind of impossible, illogical, dangerous commitment that humans excel at keeping. The tactical displays updated with new information about the approaching hegemony fleet. Their formation had shifted to a standard attack configuration, indicating they intended to engage and destroy everything at the station. Commander, William continued, in 3.5 hours, you're going to see whether humans are worth partnering with or just another aggressive species to be avoided. I can't promise we'll survive what's coming. But I can promise that we'll show you who we really are. 3 hours and 17 minutes later, the hegemony fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the system like a plague of mechanical locusts. Their ships were angular, brutal things designed for one purpose: overwhelming destruction. The 3 dreadnoughts alone massed more than all human vessels in the sector combined. William stood on the command bridge of New Geneva Station, surrounded by the finest officers humanity had to offer. Through the massive viewports, he could see the Zephyrian bioships maintaining position alongside the human defensive fleet. After 2 hours of intense discussion, the aliens had agreed to stay and observe what they called humanity's resonance under ultimate pressure. Incoming transmission from the hegemony flagship, reported Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez. Put it through, William ordered. The holographic display activated, showing a creature that resembled a cross between an insect and a machine. Its translator-enhanced voice carried undertones of mechanical clicking and grinding. Humans of the diplomatic station, you will surrender all personnel and research materials to hegemony control. Resistance will result in total elimination. William stepped forward, his diplomatic uniform replaced by the practical combat gear of a station commander. Hegemony representative, this is Prince William of Earth. We reject your demands. This station operates under galactic diplomatic immunity protocols. The alien creature's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. Diplomatic protocols are irrelevant. The hegemony requires the quantum crystal negotiation data you have obtained from the Zephyrian weaklings. Surrender now and your deaths will be swift. Counter-proposal, William replied calmly. Leave this system immediately, and we won't make your defeat embarrassingly public. The transmission cut off abruptly. Within seconds, the hegemony fleet began moving toward the station in attack formation. Commander Chen activated the station's battle stations alarm. Throughout New Geneva Station, 1,200 human personnel prepared for what most of them knew would be their final battle. In the medical bay, Queen Camilla watched the tactical displays from her treatment bed, her condition stable, but her heart breaking as she watched her son lead humanity into impossible odds. Sir, reported Captain Morrison, all defensive systems are online. The Zephyrian ships have activated their energy absorption fields as requested. Our patrol ships are in position. William nodded, then opened a channel to the entire station. All hands, this is Prince William. In approximately 20 minutes, we will engage an enemy force that outguns us by a factor of 4 to 1. Our tactical computers give us a 12% chance of survival. He paused, looking around at the faces of his crew. Human beings who had chosen to stay and fight, despite knowing they would probably die. But here's what the computers don't understand about humans. We don't fight because we think we can win. We fight because fighting is the right thing to do. Today, we're not just defending a station. We're proving to the galaxy that some things are worth dying for. Through the communication channel to the Zephyrian ships, he could hear the musical harmonics that indicated intense discussion among their crew. The hegemony wants to take everything we've built here and use it to expand their empire of fear and oppression. They want our research, our technology, our lives, and our freedom. But most importantly, they want to prove that cooperation and diplomacy are weaknesses that can be exploited. The tactical display showed hegemony ships spreading into an envelopment pattern designed to eliminate any possibility of escape. We're going to prove them wrong, William continued. Not just by fighting, but by showing that humans and Zephyrians can work together even in the face of annihilation. Our alien friends could have left hours ago. They chose to stay and share our risk. That's what real partnership looks like. Chief Engineer O'Brien reported from the engine sections. Sir, I've rerouted all available power to defensive systems and weapons. We're running at 115% of normal capacity. I can maintain this for maybe an hour before we start seeing critical failures. Understood, Chief. Make every shot count. The first hegemony attack wave reached weapons range and opened fire with devastating volleys of plasma cannons and particle beams. The space around New Geneva Station exploded into a light show of destruction as human defensive systems engaged. Direct hit on Platform 7, reported Morrison. We're down to 87% defensive capability. But as the battle continued, something extraordinary began to happen. The Zephyrian bioships, rather than simply maintaining their energy absorption fields, began to actively coordinate with human tactical systems. Their organic technology interfaced with human computer networks in ways that neither species had thought possible. Sir, called out Lieutenant Price from the weapons station, the Zephyrian energy absorption is creating feedback loops in the hegemony weapons. Their plasma cannons are losing cohesion before reaching us. On the main view screen, William could see Zephyrian bioships moving in perfect synchronization with human patrol craft. Where human technology provided precision and raw firepower, Zephyrian systems offered energy manipulation and tactical adaptation. The hegemony commander's voice crackled over the communication system. Impossible! The energy signatures indicate impossible coordination between disparate technological systems. William smiled grimly as he watched one of the hegemony destroyers lose power completely as its weapon systems were neutralized by combined human-Zephyrian tactics. Commander Chen, signal the Zephyrian flagship. Tell them this is what human-alien cooperation looks like when we stop hiding behind diplomatic protocols. But the hegemony wasn't finished. The three massive dreadnoughts moved into position and began charging weapons that could destroy the station with single volleys. "Sir," Morrison reported, his voice tense, "those dreadnoughts are preparing planet-killer-class weapons. Our defensive systems can't stop that level of firepower." William looked at the tactical display, calculating distances and timing. The dreadnoughts needed 90 seconds to charge their main weapons. The station's heaviest armaments could damage but not destroy ships that size. Unless... "Morrison, can we overload our fusion reactors?" The captain's face went pale. "Sir, that would destroy the station and everything within 50 kilometers. Including the dreadnoughts if we time it right," William replied. "How long do we need to evacuate non-essential personnel to the Zephyrian ships?" "Sir, you're talking about a suicide run. The blast would kill everyone who stays behind to operate the overload systems." William activated a private communication channel to the Zephyrian commander. "Honored friend, I need you to evacuate as many human personnel as your ships can carry. We're going to destroy the station to eliminate the hegemony dreadnoughts." The response came immediately. "Earth Prince, this sacrifice is unnecessary. Our combined forces can—" "No," William interrupted. "Our combined forces can slow them down, but we can't stop 3 dreadnoughts with planet-killer weapons. This is the only way to protect the colonies and ensure your people can return home safely." What happened next would be remembered in both human and Zephyrian history for centuries. Instead of evacuating to safety, the alien bioships moved closer to the station and began extending organic conduits that connected directly to New Geneva Station's systems. The Zephyrian commander's voice filled the communication channels. "Earth Prince William, we have observed your species' resonance under ultimate pressure. We choose to harmonize with your sacrifice." "Commander, you don't understand. We're going to detonate this station. Your ships will be destroyed." "We understand completely," the alien replied. "This is what partnership means. Your people taught us that some things are worth dying for. We choose to share your fate rather than abandon our friends." For a moment, William was speechless. Around him, the human crew watched in amazement as Zephyrian technology began integrating with human systems at a level that created something entirely new. Chief Engineer O'Brien's voice came over the intercom. "Sir, the Zephyrian biotechnology is creating a containment field around our fusion reactors. Instead of an uncontrolled explosion, we can direct all the energy as a focused weapon." The tactical display updated to show an impossible solution. The combined human-Zephyrian systems could channel the station's destruction into a directed energy beam capable of destroying all 3 dreadnoughts simultaneously. "All personnel," William announced, "prepare for full reactor overload in 60 seconds. Zephyrian ships, can you maintain the containment field while we generate maximum output?" "We will harmonize with your energy patterns," came the reply. "Together, we create something neither species could achieve alone." As the countdown began, William opened a final communication to the Hegemony fleet. "Hegemony Commander, you made a critical error in your calculations. Human Prince, your futile gesture changes nothing. Our dreadnoughts will eliminate your station and continue to our target worlds." "Your error," William continued, "was assuming that humans and Zephyrians working together would be just as limited as either species working alone. You're about to discover what exponential cooperation really means." The station's fusion reactors reached critical overload. Instead of the massive spherical explosion that should have destroyed everything in the area, the combined human-Zephyrian technology focused all that energy into 3 separate beams that struck the hegemony dreadnoughts with the force of miniature stars. The destruction was instant and complete. Without their capital ships, the remaining hegemony vessels retreated in disorder, broadcasting warnings about impossible human-alien weapon systems. In the aftermath, as emergency teams worked to stabilize the heavily damaged station, William found himself in the medical bay with his mother. Camilla was finally recovered enough to sit up and review the battle reports. "The Zephyrian commander has sent a formal message," she told her son. "They're recommending immediate ratification of the resource-sharing agreement, but more than that, they're proposing a formal military alliance." William looked out through the medical bay's viewport at the Zephyrian bioships, which were extending repair tendrils to help restore the damaged human station. "They saw something today that changed their entire perception of our species," Camilla continued. "According to their cultural analysts, humans under extreme pressure don't just fight harder. We become more cooperative, more innovative, more willing to sacrifice for others. That's not how most species react to mortal danger." "So what happens now?" William asked. Queen Camilla smiled, her strength returning as she watched human and alien crews working together to repair the battle damage. "Now we find out what humans and Zephyrians can build together when we're not hiding behind diplomatic protocols. Today, you didn't just save the negotiations, William. You created something entirely new. The first true interspecies partnership based on shared values rather than shared interests." Through the communication systems, the Zephyrian commander's voice carried new harmonics that human translators identified as deep respect and affection. "Prince William of Earth, we request permission to establish permanent resonance between our peoples. Today you showed us that true strength comes not from avoiding danger, but from facing it together with trusted friends." As William looked out at the stars where human and alien ships now flew in formation, he realized that his mother's canceled diplomatic meeting had become something far more important: the birth of humanity's first real family among the stars.